Hello, sewing people of the internet. You want to know a secret? I'm a runner. I should probably make the joke that how can you tell someone is a runner? You don't have to, they'll tell you. There's probably other jokes out there. But so if you don't know, I'm a runner, and I'm actually wearing the t-shirt today from my failed 50-mile attempt in 2022. Completely coincidental that I'm wearing this shirt today, but it actually ties into what I want to talk about. So this video, I want to show you something that I finally finished that I started in apparently 2020. And this is just a prototype that I'm going to use as inspiration for a version 2.0. So I'm going to show you this pack and talk a little bit about it and talk about what I plan to do with the next pack. And then there's going to be a video in the future of making something like this. So if you're a runner or someone who hikes a lot, or just like light and fast hiking and wants a backpack with vest straps kind of a deal, then you might find this video interesting. Or you might not, in which case I don't know what to tell you. So the reason why I'm going to be making another one of these, and the reason why it's appropriate that I'm wearing this shirt, is I'm going back in May to actually run 50 miles and not fail like a complete loser this time. I'm kidding about the complete loser thing, but I am intent on stomping ones and twos and smashing tarmac mercilessly like I'm Russ Cook. So looking forward to finishing that race. And I'm setting an additional goal for myself that I'd kind of like to run it wearing as much stuff that I've made as possible. So over on a table behind you, not behind you, but behind the camera, I have a pattern and material to make a pair of LearnMYOG's Dias or Do It All shorts. And so I'm planning on making a pair of those. Well, planning on making multiple pairs, but hopefully those are going to be my running shorts for the event. I may try to make a running shirt for myself. And I'm going to make another one of these packs, at least one more. And what I've found lately that is a great combination for long runs is I like to have a hydration vest like this and this fanny pack that I never thought I was actually going to use that's turned out to be one of my most used items. I did a video about making this a long time ago. I'll put a card in the corner so you can check it out if you want. So I think for fun, I'm going to be making, in addition to the new pack, a pair of shorts, probably at least a shirt, and probably another fanny pack like this. There's a couple of features I'd like to add. Not really relevant to today's video, but just so you know, these are some of the things you can look forward to in the future on this channel. If you have specific questions about any of these projects, feel free to ask them in the comment section of this video. I'll try to remember to cover those topics or answer those questions in the videos that are forthcoming about these projects. So the real topic of today's video is this, which is my somewhat butchered take on the LearnMYOG Trail Running Backpack. Tim from LearnMYOG, I consider him a friend, and he very kindly sent me the pattern early when he was, I think it was before it was released. I think he hoped I would make it and give him some feedback, but I'm a complete jerk, and I started making it, and then I got distracted or something, and I never finished it. So this pack has sat, I would say 50 to 60% finished, just like in a bin in my sewing shop for 3 years, something like that. So, sorry, Tim, I'm a terrible person. And I want to be clear, there's no reflection on anything about the pattern. It was just me getting distracted. So, in fairness to me, I guess, I didn't think I wanted a backpack for running. I wanted the running vest with the bottle holders. That was definitely something that it was on my radar for sure to make. I didn't think I would be using the backpack. The run that I was training for and I'm going to be doing again, it's in the Florida Keys in May. It's very, very hot. I don't need to be carrying extra layers, or stuff like that with me. I ended up making a similar vest with no backpack, no storage on the back at all, really. And having used that quite a lot, I think it might actually be handy to have some storage on the back even when it's hot, because if nothing else, I could put ice or frozen water bottle or something like that back there to provide additional cooling. I don't think it's going to make me any hotter just by having this backpack on here, especially with the materials choices that I make, and I'm going to be choosing materials carefully based on them being breathable. So when I kind of abandoned this project, it was to make a vest that didn't have a backpack on it because I thought that was a better fit to my needs. But I no longer think that's the case. I also just want to be very clear, I've been showing this thing a lot. This is not what this is supposed to look like. Many of you know I recently took a hiatus from sewing for several months. And then when I started sewing again, I finished up a fishing sling pack that I was working on. Well, at the same time, like literally, I think the same day or a couple of days, I decided to go ahead and finish this. And I skipped a lot of steps and cut a lot of corners. I put binding on the outside seam instead of sewing it inside out and having the seam finish on the inside of the pack, which is, I think, what it should be. I didn't even bother with like the roll top closure or anything. I just put this piece of stretch material to function as a very rudimentary lid, so I can just basically reach in, take stuff out or put it in, and then, provides enough of a closure for my purposes. But that was just a really quick way to make this functional so I could run with it. I may actually keep this feature. I think this needs to be lower, or else the mouth of the bag needs to be higher. As you can see, it kind of opens up a little bit. But I think I can adjust that to make it work better. There are several features about this particular example that are not true to the pattern that LearnMYOG made. I just cut some corners. However, I think a lot of those corners that I cut don't have any negative impact on the way I'm using this pack. Your mileage may vary, and if you've never made anything like this or not used anything like this, I would stick to the recommendations in the pattern, and then if you find you want to change something in a later version, then you'll have something to build on. So this is the vest or backpack or whatever. I ran to work this morning, so it's a little bit damp, which is pretty nice. So it's got space here for these soft running water bottles, and that's my favorite way to carry hydration. If I'm on a short run, I'll just carry one bottle in a waist pack, but anything long, I don't use like a hydration bladder with a hose anymore. There's probably advantages to that, but the disadvantages of cleaning them and stuff are not worth it to me. So this is how I prefer to carry fluids. This pack has a couple of zippered pockets. So with like salt tabs and spare contact lenses and gels and stuff in here. And that actually works better than I thought it was going to. On the pack that I designed, I guess I should show you. On the pack that I designed, I just have the bottle pockets, and then in front of that an open pocket that I could stuff into. I do like the fact that I could just quickly stuff stuff in, but occasionally things do pop out, and at least with the zipper, they're not going to just slide out. So pros and cons to both, but I ended up liking this more than I expected to when I finally used the pack. I think one of these pockets is intended to be a phone pocket, and my phone would fit in here, but I am absolutely drenched when I run here, particularly in the summer. And my phone's not waterproof, but even if it were, they get so wet that you can't, get the screen to respond sometimes and stuff. So I don't carry a phone in a pouch like this. That's what I use this for, among a few other necessities. So I'm just going to use these pockets for gels and, like I said, maybe my spare contact lenses or things like that I want on me at all times. So I actually will probably, when I make a new version of this, I'll probably keep it pretty much just as it is. I don't remember, I can't remember what the plan was on the LearnMYOG pattern, but and it may have been the same as this, I may have stolen it from that, I don't know, but on the vest that I made, I did a sliding adjustable chest strap. I used terrible webbing and tiny little buckles, and they never would stay tight, and they were awful. And I didn't make the chest straps adjustable, so they could slide up and down at all. I kind of wonder about that, like when packs have adjustability like that, is that so they fit a wide variety of people, and it's unnecessary when you're making a custom pack for one person or yourself? Or is there a benefit to it being able to move up and down would you want to move it? On this pack, the straps moved of their own accord, and if anything, they moved to places that were less comfortable, and I had to move them back to where they were more comfortable. So I just fixed them in place, and based on the 30 miles I've run with this pack so far, that's probably what I'm going to do with the next one. But it's simple enough to make them adjustable. There's a couple of different ways to do it. I don't know if it's really necessary for me. When I first put it back together, I just used some elastic and some cord locks as a closure, and that wasn't great. The reason I did that was, even though I had perfectly good webbing that would work for this application, I didn't have black buckles. I only had tan buckles. I'm dumb enough that I was hesitant to use the tan buckles on what is really a prototype that I can use it going into the future, but the plan is to make another one, and oh yeah, I could also just change these buckles when I buy some more. So I finally realized I was being a dummy and put on the webbing and these side release buckles. So there's plenty of adjustment. There's no elastic in this, that's just straight webbing. And I've run about 30 miles with this pack now, and I don't think it needs elastic. This has been totally fine. I guess we'll talk about the construction and explain why that might be. So the body of this backpack is almost entirely spacer mesh, this stuff. And spacer mesh naturally has some stretch to it, so I think that helps give the pack some flexibility. I think Tim calls for using elastic binding on certain parts of the pack, but I didn't do that. I bound the whole thing everywhere that needed binding with my usual binding, mil-spec 4088 webbing, and it doesn't have any stretch at all. But again, I don't notice any need for any additional stretch for this. I also just sewed the vest strap attachment directly to the backpack portion. I think Tim has this attached with shock cord or something. Again, I made this a much more simplified version, but seems to be working just fine for my uses. So if you're interested in a pack like this, a lot of people ask me if I make patterns for anything I do. I don't ever make patterns, or very rarely do, and I've never made them something that you could use to make something. But LearnMYOG has an awesome selection, an ever-growing selection of projects. So even if you're not interested in this particular project, there's bound to be something on his site that will interest you, and it's a really great way to take the next step in bag making if you're not ready to pattern something yourself. The main point I wanted to make with this video is having used Tim's pattern to make something similar that I'm finding is working for me, I'm going to build on this to make a final version. And I guess the overarching point of this is, don't be afraid to just make something and see if it works. This is mostly scrap material, and I have the good fortune to have a lot of scrap material around from all the projects I do and stuff. You may not have that luxury, but if you can make something out of inexpensive materials, I think this ripstop came from Joann Fabrics from their remnants pile. You can make something that you can use and get the function out of and find out what you need to improve, and then maybe invest in better materials for the real project later. There's a lot to be gained from making multiple iterations of things. So in the coming months, look forward to seeing a pack I make similar to this. It's going to be quite a bit more colorful. Plus a new hip pack, fanny pack, whatever we're calling these things. Hopefully a pair of running shorts, maybe a running shirt, and hearing me talk a lot about running for the next few months. Anyway, I hope you found something about this interesting. If you did, clicking like, subscribing, all that kind of stuff, you know the deal. Thank you so much for watching and being part of the channel. I'll see you next time. GoPro while I sit on its back. I'm kidding.
Yeah, I said, you heard me, yeah. Let's do it.
What a beauty. Alright, that was 15 miles. on the button. We're back at the parking lot. I'm gonna eat some lunch and get changed and then go somewhere else, try to catch a few fish.